If we are one, how do we come into an alignment with our true power, our true spiritual nature? We talked in our last episode about the fact that we exist, that we cannot unexist. We talked about the fact that because we exist, we are worthy, and to not give your consent to anyone trying to make you believe or feel otherwise. We spoke of an important dynamic shift in our spiritual understanding and perception of self. That we are, in fact, spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. And that as spiritual beings, we are eternal beings, endowed with the power of intention, creation, and manifestation. We also spoke about these strange times that we're currently living in and how we all can sense it. How everything seems to be moving faster and towards what seems like a chaotic, climactic moment of choice, of truth, where the dark secrets and deceptions are being brought out of the shadows and into the light of truth for everyone to see and to finally decide what we will accept and what we will not accept. If we are one, how do we individually and collectively move through the sheer volatility and madness of these times, where the interconnectedness of our experience through social media and other platforms brings the world's turmoil right into our personal space, moment to moment? How do we reconcile the dysfunctional nature of old fear-based belief systems and consciously make the decision to replace them with a new and more love-focused, oneness-centric understanding of our true selves, our true nature, and our place in this infinite multiverse of all that is? How do we turn on and keep the collective light on so that it can forever shine brightly once and for all? Hi, my name is Darrell T. Johnson. I am a musician, a teacher, and a QHHT hypnosis practitioner. Welcome to episode 2 of my new podcast, If We Are One. Greetings to all of you. It's so good to be with you, and I really appreciate all of you who have responded to episode 1 and for taking the time to be here with me now for episode 2. In this installment, we're going to peel back the onion a little bit more in some of the core concepts that we had referenced in episode 1 and move these forward into new concepts of understanding as it relates to where we are now in this current drama that we are dealing with here on Earth. Heady stuff, to be sure. In these strange times, where everything seems to be moving at breakneck speed toward what seems like a climactic moment of truth, many are referring to this period as the eye of the needle. This is where our collective consciousness is rising in vibration from the lower frequencies of negativity and separation from source to the higher realms of connection, empowerment, realization, and enlightenment. Now, what makes this eye of the needle so compelling has to do with what you, as a conscious, free-willed spiritual being, choose to accept or reject as your course direction for conscious experience and growth. In other words, Do you choose the light or the dark? Do you choose service to self or service to others? Some may prefer to stay in the darkness because it suits them and they want to continue with this experience, and that is their choice. But others will make the conscious alternative to move to the light, to love, truth, freedom, and oneness consciousness with all that is. Again, the choice is always yours. For let us not forget that what you think and what you believe forms the foundational energy for what you experience. So again, the question ultimately becomes, what do you choose? Now, this eye of the needle can be very much compared to the eye of a storm, like a hurricane, where the chaos and turmoil swirls all around you like a vortex. But you, hopefully, remain in the center, the eye, where everything is calm. This chaos and calamity is the very nature of change. You need to understand that before something new and beautiful can occupy a space, the old must first be destroyed and cleared away. It's much like a construction site where before you can build a new and beautiful structure, you must first tear down the old to make way for the new. This is where we are now, in this cyclical shift from the dark to the light. Interestingly, a connection can be made with the Vedic Hindu systems for measuring universal time, where it speaks of 4 yugas, periods of time that contain energetic and cyclical patterns of conscious frequency. In the case of now, we're referring to what's called the Kali Yuga, or the Dark Iron Age, moving into the Satya Yuga, or Golden Age of Enlightenment. This is where we are now, the transition from dark to light. Now, these yugas are a fascinating topic and one that we'll probably explore more in depth in future episodes, as it is an existential process of change. Now, it's worth noting something very important about all of this. As a spiritual being who lives in eternity, your incarnation into this current life is by no means an accident. You are an active participant of this process of change. You know, as a QHHT hypnosis practitioner, I have worked with a number of clients who, during their past life regression experiences, have found themselves immersed in very serious and intense human dramas that have been impactful both individually and also collectively as a mass consciousness event, often directly tied to historic memory. Some of these dramas have been chronicled in our distant past, but some of these amazing past life regressions have actually gone back into dramas of what may be described as prehistory or antediluvian, things that don't have a clear documented record and have often found themselves in the stories of mythology, but are now being looked at with fresh eyes and a new perspective, slowly being sifted through and theorized from an archaeological context. Many of these epic stories have, in a very significant way, paralleled many of the same human themes and dramas that we as a collective consciousness are going through right now. It's almost as if many of us are sharing in a mutual reincarnational experience and are in some respects going through a kind of a mass do-over, perhaps in the hopes of facilitating better outcomes and, in a sense, getting it right this time around, learning and growing spiritually as a result. I am not alone in this belief, and more evidence is coming through to corroborate many of these experiences and claims. So my suspicion is that in the case of our current world drama, we have done this before in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully we can get it right this time around. I'd like to believe that we can, and we will. We'll see. So, back to here and now. As the veil of spiritual amnesia is placed over us in this particular 3D experience, and we go through our day-to-day life process, many of us do so with a kind of a dull sense of monotony and lack of awareness. Like we're on automatic pilot. We often feel that we're just going through the motions and have no control over the circumstances that occur in our lives, and must always have to deal with the next conflict that shows up. It can feel like an endless cycle of action-reaction, on and on with no resolution in sight. Some of us even feel a sense of helplessness about the things that happen and hopelessness in our ability or perceived inability to make things right, to make things better. But it doesn't have to be this way. There's an old Persian proverb that I remember hearing many years ago, which resonated with me then and still has great relevance now. Some of you may have heard it. It goes like this. He who knows not, and knows not that he knows not, is a fool. Shun him. He who knows not, and knows that he knows not, is a student. Teach him. He who knows, and knows not that he knows, is asleep. Wake him. He who knows and knows that he knows is wise. Follow him. The follow him part feels a little uncomfortable for me personally. I tend to want to think more of learn from him or her. In any event, this proverb illustrates the stages of awakening that many of us go through, and in some cases can be trapped in because of being caught in the illusion of life, not aware that they are the creators of their own experience, and that there is something so much greater than what they are currently aware of or believe. So, in the understanding of what we are as spiritual beings, having a human experience, a basic question that may come to mind is, why are we here in this human body in the first place? What is the purpose of this, especially with all that's going on right now here on Earth? Well, first, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Or more accurately stated, I'm going to remind you of a decision you made as a spiritual being, as soul. Second, I'm going to go into a much broader understanding of why we are here in this form, or any form, in the first place. So, are you ready for the little secret? Here it is. You chose to be here at this time, in this incarnation, at this particular moment in our human history. You came here now to participate in whatever way you deem appropriate for you to be a part of the solution or part of the problem. Remember, you have free will, and you can choose whether to exist in the higher frequencies of love and oneness, or the lower frequencies of fear, hatred, and separation. Either way, you are here to play your part in this existential human exercise. It takes a village. The bottom line in either case is, from a spiritual perspective, it doesn't really matter what the situation may be. What matters is how you choose to respond to it. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this brings us to the second part of our explanation as to why we are here. We are here to learn and have experiences so that we may grow and expand in conscious awareness. Now, while this may sound logical from an intellectual point of view, let us not lose sight of the magnitude of this statement, because it's all about context. Remember, you and I and everyone and everything is a part of all that is. You are all that is. I am all that is. We are all that is. At the risk of sounding like Captain Obvious here, all that is all there is. There is nothing that exists outside of it. So in order for God's source to gain experience, expansion, and enlightenment, it created unique, individual expressions of itself so as to have individual and collective experience. We are those individual expressions. We create the experience of omniscient understanding for source. Consider your own process of learning, of knowing. There is the moment when you are introduced to a new idea, a new concept. When it is explained to you for the first time, you usually have an intellectual understanding of what the concept is. But does that mean that you know it yet? I mean, have you actually made it a part of your knowing experience? No. There is intellectual understanding and there is knowingness. This knowingness can only be attained through actual experience, of putting it into practice, of doing the work, of making the mistakes, of learning from the mistakes, and becoming wiser as a result. It's where the rubber meets the road. So, in a nutshell, in order for all that is to gain knowing experience, it created all of us so that we could have the opportunity to create these experiences. We are God's source in action. We are the data points of understanding and practical application that expands all that is in consciousness. We are the all and the one simultaneously. Remember, and I'm going to repeat this over and over, we live in eternity. We will never die. Moreover, we will always attain oneness from our unique perspective. If you, in your journey back home to Source, decide to become all that is in its entirety, you will do so from your unique perspective. You will lose nothing. You will gain everything. Remember, you occupy a body, but it is only the vehicle you use in this or any incarnation. You will eventually discard it and move on to a new experience of expansion within all that is. Now, about reincarnation. The concept of reincarnation, of experiencing past lives and even future lives, is relevant only from a space-time perspective, having the experience of past, present, and future, but takes on a totally different understanding and meaning when you consider that in fact, all is here and now. That everything exists simultaneously, past, present, and future. You see, time is an illusion, but can be experienced as space-time. In truth, the mechanism of reality is here and now. And this here and now can be infinitely experienced from different perspectives, from different points of view. The linear experience of space-time shows itself incarnationally as one life followed by another and another. But in reality, it is all simultaneously here and now. So, if all is here and now, how does the idea of reincarnation work? This is where we come into a brief mention and understanding, for now, of you and I within a spiritual hierarchy. Let me explain. You are soul. You don't have a soul. You are soul. You have a body. But you are also part of a larger collective consciousness. This consciousness is called an oversoul. It holds within it multiple levels and layers of soul experience, of souls just like you, living at various times in a multitude of places, all simultaneously. You are the one and the all, simultaneously. But you can have access to this whenever necessary. This is what my role as a QHHT hypnosis practitioner is all about. I assist those who want answers to life questions from a reincarnational perspective. I assist in facilitating this experience with my clients, then connect them to their higher self for answers, karmic resolution, and healing. From a linear space-time perspective, reincarnation can be experienced, but within the mechanism of here and now, it is all happening in the now. I know this concept may be hard to wrap your brain around from a 3D space-time perspective, but don't worry about it. For now, I just want you to file it away in the drawer marked things to ponder later. I just wanted to mention this because we need to consider that there are new paradigms of understanding that we haven't spoken about yet, but need to address, and will be carefully discussed in future episodes. I promise. For now, I'll just let you ponder and consider these possibilities. You don't have to accept them. Just ponder them. In our next few installments, we're going to be talking more about the soul over soul connection and even higher realms of consciousness than this. We're going to be continuing more on the law of attraction and the power of belief. We'll also be discussing the nature of probability and how it is more deeply enmeshed in your moment-to-moment existence than you may think. We'll be talking more about making that conscious connection between the physical mind and the higher mind, the higher self, and how tapping into this endless source of knowledge and understanding will allow you to eventually become the masters of your own fate. But for now, we'll leave it here. One last thing that I do want to share with you as we go into this journey together is this. You are not learning anything new here. All of this information that I'm sharing with you is already inside you. What we are doing now in this process is remembering what we already know. We've just forgotten our divinity. But now is where we bring it back, one soul at a time. So, if what you have heard in this installment resonates with you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and please share with others. I truly appreciate you being here, and I hope you will join me for the next episode. There will be a lot to cover. So until next time, I'm Darrell T. Johnson. See you all again soon. And if we are one, let's live in peace, love, and joy.